Welcome, everybody, to week 3 of your global purpose expedition. Wow, it actually takes something. It takes something to be in this room right now. Now that you've had the experience of getting to know your own entelechy, as well as starting to hear some of the new morsels of wisdom from the people in your life, you're probably pretty confronted. That's why we talked about resistance last week. But you're probably like, what is all this nonsense? How do I know if it's real? If I follow this, will I lose everything? And I just want you to know that's normal. Because one of the things we do as humans is like, we want to know how it's all going to work out, that the future has to be written somewhere. And that if we hear something about our life's purpose, that we've got to have this super clear vision of what that future is going to be. And the future is actually a very important part of your purpose. Your entelechy came to you from your future. And today we're going to get an opportunity to look at your whole life in its totality, assuming that from this moment, you lived life mightily, more mightily than you ever have before, more on purpose, more full of soul than you have ever done. And it's going to be exciting. So now I want to share with you the first time I got the power of the future, meaning like as a concept. So I was 26, and as I've shared previously, like I spent, the previous 10 years basically as this kind of one-dimensional party boy. I was professionally emulating my dad, but socially I was more like Chris Farley, more like Stifler. Like I just did lots of drugs, lots of alcohol, and traveled and slept around, all that kind of stuff. And it was fun, right? I mean, stuff is fun. I'm not gonna lie, but not as a lifestyle. And I remember I was 26 and I was sitting in this bar at Sharky's in Hermosa Beach, and it just hit me. I'm like, oh my god, this is my life. I don't want it. This just is not. I don't want to do this. Like it was like present to that kind of Tears of a Clown uh, song from Smokey Robinson. That like I had become a clown. I was a social clown. That my friends and even myself, I relied on myself to be outrageous, to be just confrontational, shock jock, bad boy, break the law whenever possible. And it it just felt empty to me. And I'm like, wow, this is what I have to look forward to. And but more importantly, like I could actually see what my 30s, 40s, and 50s were probably going to include. Like if I kept this going, this kind of drug and alcohol appetite going, I mean, odds are, I'd probably have cirrhosis of the liver, probably have a few DUIs, eventually be walking around with a colostomy bag or something like that. And I wouldn't be able to, pick up girls at the bar anymore with that thing. And the thing is, like, I knew there was something inside of me. Like, I knew there was a future that was out there, that was mine, but I couldn't see it. All I could see was what was around me. And I'm like, if this is my life, F it. I don't want that. But I had no idea how to even bring it about. Like I said, I didn't even have the questions to ask. I didn't even know there was such a thing as a life purpose. But I knew that I had this future, that there was like a great work inside of me, and that I had to bring it forward. I didn't see how to do it though. And my response to it was, kind of like almost like shame at first, like how can I have this great life where I work at the startup, I've got this Jeep with no top and no doors, and these awesome roommates, and these great parties, and girlfriends, and drugs, and traveling, and like I don't like myself. Like, what was wrong with me? What was I missing? And since I didn't really have any kind of mentors or elders, I isolated, but I did it in a fairly constructive way. I would, take my cigarettes and go down to the coffee shop and sit there and read the New York Times and just like hoping for some kind of vision, some kind of inspiration that would pull me into this future. Um, because I knew that that's where the key was. That if I had that thing clear, if that vision for my life got clear, then I could blast through or overcome or get around any obstacle. And so the power of future is profound. When you think about when you've been in a terrible relationship or a terrible job, your mind immediately goes is like, is this what am I signing up for this? Is this what I want in my life? So the future is very powerful. And today you're going to get a chance to actually talk with that in a brand new way. But first, I want to share with you a quote from the Bhagavad Gita, because I think this is probably the oldest. Yeah, I think it's probably the oldest quote that begins to approximate your unique soul purpose. So, as Krishna shares to Arjuna in the Bhagavad Gita, it goes, "It is better to strive in one's own dharma than to succeed in the dharma of another." That basically, like, you're better off losing your own game to strive, to struggle, than winning somebody else's. And that's what I was present to in that bar. It was like, wow, I've won this like Stifler Gordon Gekko game, and it sucks. It's not my game. It's not my future. Not my circus, not my monkeys. But I had certainly become a monkey in that circus for sure. But as Arjuna starts to receive the counsel from Krishna, Arjuna, is dealing with what he's confronted by. I mean, he's got to go into battle against his uncles, right? The cost of living his purpose could mean his own life, but he's got to take that faith. He faced the possibility of his own death and that of his family. And in his case, like he had to pick up arms against his family. People in his family were going to die if he lived his purpose. Which, as anyone who's tried to live truthfully knows, this is pretty common. Like, people in your family get hurt, or they take it personally when you self-express. And oftentimes, society and family are actually the things that are standing in the way or in direct opposition to you living your full life's purpose. So, like, I was being encouraged to be this Gordon Gekko, to be this Stifler. And so that's why I hid away and read my New York Times by myself, so nobody caught me reading, right? And it's not that I was any more special or unique. And I knew, and I still know, that my friends at the time, they wanted more out of their lives. They just didn't see how to make it happen. And we have this social network, this contract to stay the course, to kind of support the lie, to succeed in the dharma of others. Now, Krishna, in this situation, he helps Arjuna see that it is who he's being and acting as in his role as his warrior. It's who he is being as he fights, standing for this greater vision. What he's committed and surrendered to, what he's holding in his heart that is most important. Like, he is connected to his purpose, surrendering attachment to his own well-being, even to the well-being of the people who he loves, and he offers it up to the greatest good. And that's the key message here. It's like, people are going to get hurt. Not that we would be careless, but we've got to be willing to risk our own well-being and the well-being of others to be fully self-expressed. And again, this is a dramatic instance, but like, Arjuna had to go kill his family to live his purpose. And so that's what a lot of us actually have to do metaphorically, is we have to sever the ties of conformity, of expectation with our family. So today, as mentioned, you're going to get a chance to travel to the future. But before you do that, you're going to spend your 1 to 3 minutes with your purpose tree mandala to root your day in your purpose, and begin to envision the totality, the fullness of your life on purpose. Like, what would it really look like if these images were my life? If this tree actually was real for me, how would that feel? So as you start to spend time with your purpose tree mandala, evoke the emotion that's behind the images. How would you actually feel lit up this way all the time? It's going to be different for everyone, but I encourage you to dive into that. How do I feel if this is my life? So we're going to dive into this future version of yourself. And again, we're going to be playing in that sweet spot, that imaginal realm. So between fantasy and the predictable, this place where creativity and soul play and begin to articulate what's possible and real. And we're going to do this exercise called Messages from the Future. And in this exercise, you're going to get to hear from somebody who you respect deeply, is going to pay tribute to you in your life. So you'll envision a late life birthday, probably 90, 95, whatever it is for you. And you're going to pick somebody who's going to talk about your life lived mightily. So if from this moment forward, all you did was like live, breathe, and eat purpose. All you did was ensoul every corner of your life with who you really were. What would your life look like? What would you achieve? Who would you get to be? You get to meet this person today. And when you're finished with that, you'll go do your group call, and then you'll do your powerful share. So again, pick one new person in your life, someone you haven't talked with yet, and share what you're getting out of it. Ideally, something that's up for you, like what you're struggling with, what you see as possible, and connect with that person. Because when you share vulnerably, when you share about what's real for you, because this is real stuff, this isn't weather, this isn't the sports, you develop a brand new relationship with that person. In a sense, you're kind of making it a sacrament, soulful sacrament, when you connect with that person from this place. And it begins to grow the roots for your purposeful life after the course. So enjoy, share your heart out, and we'll see you soon.